YouTube Nation. Yeah, man. And me, man, Mr. B. And boy, I want to let go this SSL thing about the circumstances not allowing us to let it go at all. In fact, we really need to just big up the what I call the informal media. People like myself who run these little channels and provide these commentaries, because without us, without the focus that we have put on this thing, John Public would know a damn thing about what is going on. Now, whether you like it or not, whether you want to support government or you don't, that's your choice. But the truth be told, we're in some serious crap. Initial estimates is putting this fraud at pretty close to 4 billion Jamaican dollars. It's the biggest fraud ever committed in the country. And, we are pretending, well, certainly our political administration is pretending as if it's business as usual. You cannot have a situation where a country has allowed a financial institution to operate with a kind of laxity to the extent that employees, directors, the management of the organization is literally using the client's money as if it's their own pocketbook the money is coming out of. The other thing that we need to look at is this fraud could not have been perpetuated without the involvement of, at the very least, participants in the commercial banking sector. And I say this against the background that, when we look at $3-4 billion that has gone missing, right? And we recognize, based on certain paper trail information that is being presented, that monies were being diverted to different areas by individuals within the organization. One of the things that must strike you is that for these monies to move, them have to move through the banking system, right? Because this entity don't have they're not a deposit taking institution. So even if somebody brings some money and deposit it, place it with the institution, they have to offload this to a financial institution. You cannot get a check cut at a bank for over $1 million without it getting the scrutiny of certain levels of management within the banking institution. What is worse is that if those checks rise in terms of dollar figure over $5-10 million, $20 million, and we are talking about 4 billion with a B, 4 billion Jamaican dollars that just gone like Sammy mouth. All right, we need to appreciate that at a certain level, certain size checks have to get some clearance from the Bank of Jamaica. So they have to go through the commercial bank, and the checks, the drawings have to be reported, because when you start to cash checks for $30-40 million, those monies, the BOJ can't afford for that money just to be floating back into the economy without having a knowledge of where it's where it's headed, because that is part of what helped drive your inflation, and it runs contrary to how they want to manage their inflation targets. So I don't want to make the politician them make them believe that this is just a little man, put him in the cookie jar and take out 2 cookies and gone. We are talking about $4 billion, and we need to remember too that at least a quarter of that money is money from government departments, that these government departments had also placed this money with this institution. There are some questions that we need to get answers to and nobody now ask the question, you know. Nobody now seriously, I mean, hear none of the media houses posing this question. The Prime Minister was an investor up to 2021 with this institution, you know. The public need to know how much money he did have invested in this thing and what was the basis on which he moved his money, right? And, you know, especially when one considers that the fraud seemed to have escalated around that time, you know. There is a dark newspaper have it that this entity was a major financier of the governing party at the time when they were contesting for the general elections of, when was it, 2016. You know, these are some questions that we need to get some serious answers to, you know. We see where the government is claiming, oh, we're going to bring in the FBI and all of them kind of thing. You know, what the FBI is coming here to do, you know, the United States Embassy already have whatever information they need to have with respect to how this fraud is affecting financial or would have impacted financial institutions back in the United States. So, you know, my sense is that this thing about bringing in the FBI is just one more shambolic approach, one more shambolic strategy to try to throw a bone to the people out there who don't really have much of an understanding as to what are going on, right? It is what I call this systemic, the manipulation, right? It's the system is using this as a ploy to get people to kind of divert their attention away from the gravity of the situation. And we need, as I said, to be asking some tough questions. We want to know as well, you know, why did that lady who was the head of the FSC, there are sudden resignation, right? And the relationship that that particular person would have had with this institution. We also want to know too, how many other individuals connected with the current governing party had interests in this institution, right? This is not a little fly-by-night, you know, event. It is, you're talking about $4 billion of people's hard-earned money, and it includes taxpayers' money, right? National Health Fund alone has about, according to reports, some $750 million placed with this institution. Now, this is money placed in an institution that's supposed to be out there buy drugs for help poor people fight diabetes and all kind of heart condition and so on. But we can't find the money to go buy the medication for treat poor people. But we can take the government money and put it in them people their hand so that them can take it and go buy boat and big house and big car all over the place, because essentially that are the problem, right? Here's an entity that has been out there issuing statements to people, right, that don't even worth the value of the paper that the statements have been written on, right? These are just bits and pieces of information that is leaking out or has leaked out over time, right? But the questions that are being posed, nobody is answering them. What we see happening is between the Minister of Finance and, you know, the Prime Minister's silence is also deafening. We see where former JLP leader and former Prime Minister Bruce Golding make a talk that's a boy, you know, and on a line tell him, say, government provide these people with licenses to operate. You provide an oversight institution that's supposed to be providing that oversight so that it, you know, give some sort of a oversight to or provide satisfaction to investors that at least the system is working and is paying attention to these people. But instead of that happening, the people them thief the people them money, and them thief the money of their depositors and investors, while the institution that's supposed to be providing the oversight is there and has done nothing, and them have all the powers in the world. So if they have the power to do something and didn't do it, who issued instructions to stay execution when an execution would have been necessary, right? Some serious questions that we need to get some answers to. And the more time pass is the deeper the carambola becomes, right? And we need to get answers. You know, we have this administration has developed this skill at what I call obfuscation, right? And we see one more step at obfuscation taken away with the government send police and soldiers go to Haiti for go help Haiti with them crime problem. Now, here's what is laughable about that. Because again, if it never so serious in it would have been a big joke. Haiti have a murder rate of just about 10 or 11 per 100,000 of population, right? 10, 11 per 100,000. Jamaica's murder rate was 53, 5 times the rate at Haiti, and we have a population size that is just about maybe just a little less than a third of Haiti's population, right? Haiti may have some issues are going over there right now, but we need every single striking policeman we can get to put on the road right now. But we are the country with 53 murders per 100,000 of population, 53.6 to be exact, right? We finished the second highest murder tally in the world behind El Salvador last year. And instead of we concentrate our energies and say how we can deal with this thing, we are saying soldier and police go to Haiti because guess what? We had look at grabbing headlines so you can take your people's eyes and attention off the real issues that is affecting them. This is what you call governing by obfuscation. I don't care who don't like what I have to say now, because I only talk the truth, right? We have problems, and we clearly have a set of people who have taken the reins of governance and they don't have a goddamn clue as to what to do, right? And, you know, this SSL scandal, if it was anywhere else, it would have bring down the goddamn government, right? These people need to throw in the towel. I don't care if you go down a Bellevue or somewhere and get some half-mad people for run the country, because them certainly would have do better than what I go on. So I just saw me see it. I mean, I call it as me see it. If you wouldn't like it, come fight me, right? But guess what? That is just my little thing. I mean, just want to put on the pressure because me a plan for kind of let it go. But it now allow me to let it go, you know? So I want to get a feedback. I want to hear what you think about where me think, you know? Give me your feedback, you know? Write your feedback in the comment section. And if you like the video, you know, hit the like button. Subscribe. If you don't subscribe it, subscribe, man, because you know we actually grow the thing, and we need to keep this conversation going, because thank God for medium like this, because if it wasn't this, most people wouldn't have a clue as to what I go on. And me, man, Mr. B, more time.